Let's get started with our first story. UFC legend Michael Bisping is being brutally honest about Michael Chandler and isn't holding anything back. He's also sharing some bold thoughts about Arman Tsarukyan possibly being the toughest test yet for Paddy Pimblett in the lightweight division, aside from the reigning champion, Islam Makhachev. Bisping went straight for the truth and didn't sugarcoat a thing. He said Chandler looked absolutely awful at UFC 314, and from his perspective, Chandler might not be getting any more big high-profile fights again. "He's hittable. It would be fun, man," said Bisping on his podcast. He then added something even more interesting. "If we're trying to give Paddy a fun fight that's still a real test, but also want to see him potentially fight for the belt in the future, then give him Arman Tsarukyan." That's a big statement, considering how dangerous Tsarukyan has looked recently, but Bisping made sure to clarify, he's not saying Arman is the most dangerous overall. He's saying that stylistically, Tsarukyan might be the toughest fight for Paddy when it comes to the risk of losing, and that's a huge difference. Bisping also addressed the critics, saying some fans might accuse him of hyping up Paddy too much, especially since Chandler is not the same fighter he once was. "Hold on," he said. "Aren't you glazing Paddy and acting like he's great? Chandler was washed." And guess what? Bisping agreed. He admitted that Chandler did look like a guy who's past his prime, but despite that, he's not taking anything away from what Paddy Pimblett did inside the Octagon. Bisping praised Paddy's performance from top to bottom. The aggression, the forward pressure, the stalking, the composure, the complete beatdown. He dominated in every single area, and that can't be ignored, even if Chandler is no longer in his prime. Chandler, for context, looked like a guy pushing 40, a man who's lost 5 of his last 7 fights, a guy who, in Bisping's words, probably won't be getting any more massive UFC opportunities. Bisping even said, "If I was Paddy's manager, I'd be on every media outlet saying, 'Look what my guy did to this veteran. He beat him to a pulp.'" That's how convincing it was. He compared it to Charles Oliveira, saying even Charles didn't finish Chandler that quickly. In fact, Chandler went 5 rounds with Oliveira and even hurt him in their rematch. But against Paddy, he got completely shut down. Moving on to the second big story of the day, Charles Du Bronx, Oliveira has finally broken his silence on the idea of stepping into the Octagon with none other than the undefeated featherweight champion, Ilia Topuria. In a recent sit-down with respected MMA journalist Alvaro Colmenaro, Oliveira didn't shy away from the topic. When asked directly about a potential fight with Topuria, Charles didn't hesitate. He said he's absolutely open to the matchup. As always, Oliveira made it clear he's not here to dodge fights or play politics. He's here to move forward, take risks, and face whoever stands in front of him. He's a tough guy, Charles said, giving Ilia his flowers. But he didn't stop there. Oliveira used this moment to deliver a strong message, a reminder of just how brutal and complex the lightweight division truly is. According to Oliveira, the jump from featherweight to lightweight is no walk in the park. He said the guys at 155 pounds are operating on a whole different level. We're talking devastating leg kicks, elite level jiu-jitsu, and most importantly, serious one-punch knockout power. And this isn't coming from just anyone. This is Charles Oliveira, the man who has fought and finished legends. From Tony Ferguson to Dustin Poirier, from Michael Chandler to Justin Gaethje, and even Islam Makhachev. Oliveira has not only been in the fire, he's been tempered by it. He knows exactly what kind of chaos and violence exists in the lightweight waters. Still, despite the dangers, despite the depth, and despite Ilia's undefeated aura, Charles made it crystal clear he's not backing down. In fact, he seems excited by the idea. He spoke with genuine respect for what Ilia has accomplished. The undefeated streak, the dominant win over Alexander Volkanovski, the confidence he carries into every fight, it's all impressive. Oliveira sees it and he acknowledges it, but at the same time, he's ready to test it, ready to find out if Ilia can swim with the Sharks at 155. And let's be honest, Ilia Topuria has been teasing a move to lightweight for months now. His frame, his strength, and his evolving skill set make it only a matter of time. The only question is, who will welcome him to the division? And what better way to debut at 155 than against the former lightweight kingpin? Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria would be a can't-miss high-octane war. 2 finishers, 2 pressure fighters, 2 warriors with zero fear, so now we turn it over to you. Should Ilya face Do Bronx? Should he test himself against a rising monster like Arman Tsarukyan? Or does he owe Alex Volkanovski one more go at 145? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to know who's next for Ilya Topuria. Meanwhile, Khabib Nurmagomedov is showing some serious love for Belal Muhammad ahead of UFC 315. While certain corners of the MMA fanbase still haven't fully embraced Belal, the legendary former lightweight king is making one thing clear. He's riding with Belal all the way. In a recent YouTube interview with Adam Zubarai, Khabib didn't hold back when it came to praising Belal's game. He specifically highlighted Belal's insane gas tank, calling it one of the best in the entire UFC. You may not like him, Khabib said bluntly, but that doesn't mean he's a bad fighter. When was the last time he even lost? It's been a long time. Khabib emphasized Belal's impressive win streak, noting how he pushes the pace from bell to bell. Whether it's through relentless wrestling, sharp striking, or just pure forward pressure, Belal keeps coming, and most fighters just can't keep up. Khabib even went as far as to say he has the most underrated cardio in the UFC. Now that's a huge compliment, especially coming from a guy who's known for drowning opponents with pace and pressure. He continued saying, "I wrestled with him. He's a hard worker, one of the most dedicated guys I've trained with." That kind of praise from someone like Khabib speaks volumes, and the respect was clearly mutual. Belal later posted a heart emoji in response to the interview, letting fans know just how much the support from Khabib means to him. But while Belal basks in praise, another hungry contender is banging on the door. Moving on to some serious title talk, Movsar Evloev has officially stepped up and called out Alexander Volkanovski, making it clear he's done waiting and is now demanding his shot at UFC gold. The undefeated Russian featherweight has been quietly climbing the ranks, putting together one of the most technically impressive streaks in the division. But according to him, there's just one problem. He doesn't have flashy knockouts or viral highlight reel finishes, and that's why he believes the UFC and fans are overlooking him. But let's be clear, Movsar Evloev's record is as real as it gets. No cherry-picked opponents, no easy fights. He's already shut down the hype train of rising stars like Diego Lopez, outlasted and outworked durable top contenders like Arnold Allen, and even got the better of a crafty, high-level former bantamweight champ in Aljamain Sterling. These aren't flukes. This is the work of a fighter who's earned his spot through relentless pressure, unmatched cardio, and world-class grappling. Now, Movsar is done being quiet. In a recent interview, he voiced his frustration at watching fighters like Yair Rodriguez get repeated title opportunities, only to fall short. According to him, fans are tired of seeing the same names rotate in and out of the title conversation. It's time for fresh blood, and Movsar believes he's the perfect man to shake things up at featherweight. A matchup between Evloev and Volkanovski would be nothing short of a strategic chess match at the highest level. You've got Movsar, a chain wrestling machine known for suffocating pressure and relentless takedown attempts. On the other side, you've got Volk, an elite striker with rock-solid takedown defense, surgical precision, and the heart of a champion. Despite calling for the fight, Movsar still showed respect for the reigning champ. He said, "Volk deserves everything he's accomplished." But then he sent a chilling warning. "With me, Volk won't be able to defend the takedowns." That's confidence. That's belief. That's a challenger making his case. And the world is starting to pay attention. The pressure is now squarely on Volkanovski. Will he accept the challenge and face an undefeated, hungry contender? Or will the UFC continue to favor flash over fundamentals? One thing's for sure, Movsar Evloev is no longer flying under the radar. He's coming for the belt. Stay tuned. Now let's dive into some serious drama. Alex Pereira and Magomed were caught in a heated backstage altercation at UFC 314, and it's got the entire MMA world buzzing with speculation. Tensions in the light heavyweight division are officially off the charts. The incident was first reported by Russian MMA outlet USHATAKA, who claimed that both men had a tense encounter backstage, locking eyes in what looked like the start of something explosive. It all started with intense eye contact, a moment that turned into a dangerous showdown right in the hallway behind the scenes. According to Ankalaev's sparring partner, things escalated very quickly. What began as just a cold stare down suddenly transformed into a full-blown verbal altercation. Both fighters closed the distance, standing face to face like they were just seconds away from throwing hands right then and there. Fortunately, cooler heads prevailed. Their teams quickly stepped in, pulling the fighters apart and defusing the situation before it exploded into something physical. But by then, the damage was already done. The bad blood is very real, and everyone watching watching knows it. What exactly sparked the confrontation? Well, that part's still a mystery. Neither fighter is fluent in English, which only adds to the intensity and mystique of the moment. No cameras captured clear audio, and no one's saying much about what was actually said. Later that night, Pereira-Ankalaev confirmed the incident during a post-fight interview. When a reporter asked if the rumors were true, if he and Pereira really almost fought, Ankalaev responded with a calm but chilling, "Yes, it was here in the hallway. We exchanged words." And that was all he gave. No details, no context, just a simple confirmation that something definitely went down. Now, with this tension boiling over, a rematch between these two warriors seems not just likely, it feels inevitable. UFC President Dana White has already hinted that this could be the next big showdown in the light heavyweight division. The storyline writes itself. Ankalaev wants to prove that his first win over Pereira wasn't a fluke, that he's the true king of the division. Meanwhile, Pereira looks laser focused on revenge, fueled by that altercation and ready to reclaim his throne. It's personal, it's high stakes, and it's exactly the kind of fight that could headline a UFC card and bring fireworks. Get ready, this rivalry is just getting started. And while all that other action is brewing, we've got some juicy behind the scenes info coming your way. Joe Rogan just leaked part of Dana White's future plans for Islam Makhachev, and it's got fans buzzing. It all went down on the latest episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. Before it even dropped, Topuria gave fans a heads up by posting a behind the scenes picture from the podcast studio. That one photo was enough to spark speculation, but when the actual episode dropped, Rogan dropped a bombshell. Joe casually mentioned that he had just spoken with Dana White over the weekend. According to Rogan, the two discussed the current state of UFC matchmaking, and more specifically, what's next for Islam Makhachev. With so many moving parts, injuries, scheduling conflicts, title defenses, there's a lot of chaos going on behind the scenes. But when it comes to Islam, things are getting very interesting. Rogan said, "When I talked to Dana this weekend, he told me about the issues with different fights, and I asked him directly, what are you thinking for Islam?" That's when Dana allegedly revealed that he's seriously considering booking Islam Makhachev versus Belal Muhammad, but there's a catch. That fight will only happen if Belal wins his next fight. It's a massive opportunity for Belal, who's been chasing respect and recognition for a long time, but it's also a massive risk because one misstep and that dream matchup is off the table. But wait, there's a wild card in the mix, Jack Della Maddalena. According to Joe, if Jack wins big, especially with an exciting finish or dominant performance, he could jump the line and steal that Islam fight right from under Belal. The UFC loves exciting finishes, and if Jack delivers, Dana might pull the trigger. There's also one more layer to all this. Islam and Belal have trained together. That adds a bit of hesitation to the matchup, but Rogan addressed that too. He said, "Yeah, they've trained together, but we've seen teammates fight before." It's not a big deal in today's UFC. Ilia Topuria, sitting across from Joe, agreed completely. He said bluntly, they should fight, so there you have it. Islam versus Belal is on the table, Jack Della Maddalena is lurking in the shadows, and Dana White is already making moves behind the curtain. Stay tuned, because the lightweight title scene is about to erupt. Now let's address the final story of the day, Khamzat Chimaev's fight delay. Well, guess what? It turns out that's fake news. Late last night, reports started circulating online, claiming that Khamzat's highly anticipated championship bout was being delayed due to a visa issue. The rumor quickly spread, with fans beginning to panic and speculate that Chimaev's return might be pushed back months. But now, sources very close to Khamzat's team have come forward and denied everything. According to them, the reports are completely false. The outlet that originally reported the story, Russian news channel TASS, has no direct connection to Khamzat's camp. That's right, they don't speak to his coaches, they don't speak to his management, they don't even have contact with his training partners. In other words, they're just guessing, and they guessed wrong. Let's be real, if Khamzat had a real visa issue, it would have already been handled by now. We're talking about a fighter being backed by the UFC, with Dana White pulling strings behind the scenes. And with Dana's powerful international connections, any minor hiccup with paperwork would be fixed in days, not weeks or months. So what does that mean for fans? It means you can stop worrying. Chimaev is ready, and so is the UFC. The fight announcement isn't delayed because of a visa. It's just a matter of strategic timing. The UFC likes to make these announcements at the right moment to maximize hype, ticket sales, and media buzz. And believe us, this fight will bring all of that and more. So to wrap it up, no visa issue, no delay. Fight announcement coming soon. And that brings us to the end of another action-packed day of UFC news. From Michael Bisping's brutal take on Michael Chandler to Charles Oliveira openly welcoming Ilia Topuria, and of course Movsar Evloev putting Alexander Volkanovski on notice. The MMA world is heating up like never before, and with drama unfolding in the light heavyweight division, Belal Muhammad getting love from Khabib, and Islam Makhachev's future being discussed on Joe Rogan's podcast, this is just the beginning of what's shaping up to be a wild year for the UFC. Stay tuned because the next big announcement could drop at any moment.